Perfect. Hey everybody, it's Selena Paley. I'm reporting live from the National Citizens Inquiry here in Red Deer, Alberta today. We just heard mind-blowing testimony from Catherine Christiansen, who represents the Canadian Armed Forces personnel, the members. You're a lawyer. We have heard some of your testimony today. I think what stuck out for me the most was that you referred to the members in the Canadian Armed Forces when it comes to the vaccine mandate as guinea pigs. Can you talk a little bit more about what you meant by that?
Yes, so the CDC down in the States had already come out and started to say that there were vaccine injuries and that it wasn't working to stop the spread and all of the stuff we were told. That's August of 2021. October 2021, they bring in a mandate in the Canadian Armed Forces. And they were told to get a 100% vaccination rate, come hell or high water. It had to be 100% to show an example to the Canadian population. Look, all of our military took the shots. And what they didn't count on was that 4 to 6% of their personnel were going to go, nope, not doing it. And then lots more ended up voluntary releasing to avoid having to take it.
Okay, so there was some resistance from the CAF members to taking the injection. And you had mentioned also that it was an order, not a directive, or was it the other way around?
It was a directive, not an order. Okay. So a directive is issued by the chain of command to say, this is how we're going to do something. Right. An order is, we're going to do this. And I quite often use the example of an order is, take that hill. Right. The directive is, here's how we're going to do that.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt you there. As I understand it, though, if you give a directive, not an order, then this is how we circumvent Section 126 of the Defense Act. Is that what you were referring to?
That was one of the ways that I think they've done it, yes. Yeah.
Interesting. So in comes a new Chief of Defense Staff, February of 2021. Just a really interesting coincidental time frame in the grand scheme of COVID timelines. So General Wayne Eyre is his name, correct?
Yes.
And he was appointed, if I understand, by that particular role in the Canadian Armed Forces and is an appointed role by the Viceroy on the advice, of course, of the Prime Minister.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
So General Wayne Eyre comes in February 2021 on the advice of the Prime Minister because he is gung-ho on getting that 100% vaccination rate amongst the members. We had some pushback. You saw some pushback. What happened to the members who pushed back?
Pushback. So they were
said no.
Yeah, they were forced to leave the forces, either through a 5F release, which until a few years ago was a dishonorable discharge. So give you an example, someone who is 5F'd in military lingo would be someone who had an alcoholic problem that couldn't be resolved, a rapist, domestic violence abuser, a drug addict that they couldn't get into treatment, that was resistant to treatment. And so these people who just, all they did was say, no, I don't want to take this injection, I'll take my chances with the virus, they were treated the same way. They were told they were morally weak and unsuitable to serve in Canada anymore.
So demoralized within the ranks, bullied, essentially shamed. You know, this, I have to admit, this is sounding so much like A Few Good Men. This is like movie quality, same kind of scenario. You have a general in charge who is, dare I say, using questionable practices within the ranks that contradicts what these people stand for. To begin with, you have honorable people volunteering their time, their service, their bodies, their lives essentially to protect Canada. Has that attitude in the Canadian Armed Forces changed as a result of these unconstitutional mandates?
I would say that it was already there and got worse. I think they ran with the power, not dissimilar to how the government of Canada did. They got power hungry and they grabbed the power that they could get.
Well, I have to say you said some pretty scary things in there, especially at the end, where I'm a bit concerned, a lot concerned, is that you said that we, as in Canadians, Canada, lost more members in the Canadian Armed Forces due to the vaccine mandates than we did in Afghanistan.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So now we have the Canadian Armed Forces. We have lost significant numbers. The morale is non-existent, and there is a lack of trust or no trust. What does that mean for Canada under any kind of threat?
We sit defenseless. There's a reason the U.S. had to shoot down the balloon.
Oh my God!
Because we don't have the people, we don't have the skill set anymore. Because the people with the skills and the experience have basically been removed.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a grave situation, where would you put this?
10.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And thank goodness for people like you. Thank goodness for organizations like the National Citizens Inquiry. You guys have got to roll back the tape, watch Catherine's testimony. It is absolutely frightening. Everyone needs to be aware. What kind of, in terms of next steps, where do you see yourself?
Well, we can continue to head into the courts and tell the Chief of Defence Staff he's accountable to the law. He likes to make speeches about it being accountable to the rule of law. Well, now we need to have our courts stand up and say, yes, the Chief of Defence Staff is answerable to the laws of Canada.
Okay, I've got one last question for you, especially about our Chief of Defence Staff, because I saw your video. In that video, he was quoted as saying that there were members within the ranks that were no longer suitable. What did he mean by that, do you think? He's done other interviews as well, where he says that their morals and their belief systems are no longer compatible with the Canadian Armed Forces. And all they did was say, for religious reasons or medical reasons or human rights reasons, I don't want to take this injection. Just like they normally could refuse the flu vaccine, but they're not required to take it. Right. See, a statement like that coming from the CDS, it confuses me, because according to what you were saying, these members never even got an opportunity to use Section 126 to defend themselves in their case as to why they were saying no. So a comment like that is very blanketed, just to put them all in that category. If you say no to this, you're just going to be bullied, harassed, and the other option would be to be dishonorably discharged. Even after 30 years, close to pension, these are your options. Take it or leave it. And if you take it, there's no compensation should you be injured.
Right. Correct.
Here we are in Canada today. Unbelievable. I feel like, wake me up. We're living the movie.
We are.
You guys, can you handle the truth? You cannot handle this truth. This is insane. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and for being a champion of truth. We look forward to some positive results from your court appearances with Wayne.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, General. All right. All right, you guys. Okay, let's head over here.